Friends, today I will talk to you about a most remarkable personality whose name you must have heard often, Swami Vivekananda, and his great guru, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. In the middle of the 19th century, India lay broken and crushed under the feet of its foreign conquerors. The first war of independence in 1857 had been ruthlessly put down, and there was darkness everywhere, and people had begun losing faith in their own dharma, in their own spiritual heritage. At that time, a remarkable man arose. Ramakrishna came to Calcutta as the brother of a pujari for a great temple that one Rani Rashmani has built in Dakshineshwar on the banks of the Ganges. And there Sri Ramakrishna developed into a spiritual genius with so many visions and so much ecstasy. He became known throughout the circle in Calcutta at that time. And they were a group of bright young boys, young graduates or pre-graduates, who were looking for some kind of guidance. And they became attracted to Sri Ramakrishna. Among them was one Narendranath Datta, who later became known as Swami Vivekananda. As a young man, he went to Ramakrishna, and then he became his disciple. He was so impressed by Ramakrishna, and Ramakrishna conveyed to him his great spiritual attainments, that he himself blossomed into a great spiritual figure. After the passing of the master, Vivekananda went by foot throughout India, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, and was appalled to see not only the poverty and the degradation, but the fact that all sorts of ridiculous superstitions were flourishing in the name of Hinduism. And he went back to the Vedanta, which of course are the key documents, the Upanishads of our heritage. And then as he was traveling, various incidents occurred, and ultimately by a series of extraordinary coincidences, you can call them, or divine grace, he was able to go to Chicago, thanks to the Maharaja of Khetri, who financed his trip, and he was there just in time for the first Parliament of the World's Religions in Chicago in 1893. He was an unknown monk at the time, but when he appeared at the Congress, dressed in his ochre robes and with his turban, he made such a tremendous impression. He started his speech, "Brothers and Sisters of America," and the whole audience got up and applauded. And he spoke without any notes. He spoke for 30 minutes about the essence of Hinduism, about what the Vedanta teaches, and how people have a wrong impression of what Hinduism is. And that one visit, and he spoke on several occasions at that parliament. He was the most sought after speaker. And that for the first time took the message of India across the seven seas, as it were, to the west. After that, many other gurus have followed, but he was a pioneer. And he then traveled in America. He went to England and he came back, and he did this. He set up the Ramakrishna Mission in the name of his guru, which was the first real Hindu mission, which was modeled in a way on the lines of the Christian missions. They were doing work, welfare work, and also prachar. And he became a very powerful figure. When he came back to India, he got a tremendous reception throughout. Wherever he went, thousands and lakhs of people would hear him. So he, as it were, created a renaissance, a revival in Hinduism. And he said, this is what is Hinduism. Hinduism, then he went to the Vedanta. He said, Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahudha Vadanti. The truth is one, the wise call it by many names. We are the only religion in the world that has never claimed a unique path to the divine. We accept multiple paths to the divine. It's a very key factor, because hardly any other religion does that. They say, no, you have to go in this way. But our Vedanta accepts that and said, no, truth is one. There are many ways to achieve it. So multiple faiths. That's where the interfaith movement began, which continues down to the present day. Then he said that another great insight of the Vedanta is Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hriddeshe Tishtati. the Lord, that same divine that pervades this entire universe, the Brahman, also resides in the hearts of all human beings. Of all human beings, regardless of race or color or sex or caste or any such thing. And he was very clear that that is the message of Hinduism. The universality of the Brahman and the fact that every human being is potentially divine. And fanning that spark of the divine into the fire of spiritual realization is the real goal of Hinduism. And he wrote books on the Jnana Yoga, the Karma Yoga, the Raja Yoga, and the Bhakti Yoga. And the books which created a sensation and are basic texts down to the present day. He also mentioned our concept of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the world as a family, a remarkable concept which our Vedantic rishis had thought about when they couldn't move more than a few miles a day on foot, but they realized that in the ultimate analysis, the human race has to be one. And today technology has in fact unified the human race, although unfortunately our consciousness is still stuck in pre-global situations. So the idea that the world is a family, and also what is the goal? Bahujana Hidaya, Bahujana Sukhaya. Work for the welfare of the world and the happiness of the people. When he set up the Ramakrishna mission, Vivekananda gave them a simple mantra. Atmano mokshartham jagat hitaya. Work for your own salvation, your own spiritual development, but also for the welfare of the world. He said Hinduism has neglected the welfare. That's why there's so much poverty. That's why the Ramakrishna mission does schools and hospitals and other famine relief and disaster relief. So Vivekananda single-handedly recreated Hinduism for the modern age. And if one figure is to be chosen who really stands out, thanks to his guru, mind you, the spiritual power came from Sri Ramakrishna, but it was Vivekananda. It's rather like Socrates and Plato. Socrates was the thinker, Plato was the one who spread the message through his dialogues around the world. Similarly, Ramakrishna's great spiritual insights developed through the genius of Swami Vivekananda, and he spoke unhesitatingly against the social evils that were flourishing in the name of Hinduism. Ridiculous things like if you go abroad, if you come back, you have to do some kind of a prayashchit or atonement, which is ridiculous. 1,000 years earlier, our traders and our artisans went to Cambodia where they built Angkor Wat, and then we become so narrow-minded. Because of this foreign domination, our minds had also become very compressed and depressed. He liberated Hinduism. His was a lion's roar. And his favorite verse, with which I will close, was from the Kathopanishad, which exhorts us to awake and arise and walk across the razor-edged path to our goal. The path is difficult, friends. There are no shortcuts now, either for individual greatness or for collective salvation. But it is across that difficult and dangerous path that we've got to go towards our goal. And what is our goal? Our goal is a new humanity, a new consciousness, a new society, a new India, a new world. That was the vision of Vivekananda. And he expounded that vision fearlessly around the world. And before I end, I want to tell you that in 1902, he went to the Sri Amarnath cave in Kashmir, which, as you know, is that marvelous ice lingam. And in that cave, apparently, he had a tremendously powerful spiritual experience. In fact, an experience of Shiva himself, it so seems. And after that, his health was shattered. He went back to Dakshineshwar, where he had set up in Belur Mutt, on this side of the Ganga, he had set up his beautiful establishment, the Ramakrishna Mission. And there he passed away in 1902 at the young age of 39, during which he had really reconstituted, rearticulated Hinduism. And his favorite verse was Uttishtata, Jagrata, Prapya Varan Nibodhata, क्षुरस्य धारा निशिता दुरस्थया दुर्गम पथस्तत् कवयो वदन्ति. Thank you.